Welcome back to another episode of the Bull and The Cub podcast. I'm your host, David.
And I'm the co-host, also David, David's dad.
Hey, and welcome back to another episode of the Bull and the Cub.
So, what are we going to talk about today, David? What's our lesson?
Well, in this lesson, we're going to talk about something that a lot of you don't really think about. It is, what is a stock? This may sound silly, but if have you ever really thought about it? What is a stock?
That's a great question, right? We want to go back to the basics, and a stock is, surprisingly to some, it's an actually ownership in a company. If you have a share of Google, then you technically own part of Google, albeit a very, very small fraction of Google, but you are technically a part owner of that company. And you can make money a few ways. What's a few ways you can make money with a stock, David?
Well, one way you can make money from a different stock was one, like buying and selling the stock to make a profit. Like when it's doing good, the stock will go up, so you'll sell stock. But and also some companies like Google, for instance, will give you dividends. They will pay you like quarterly. I don't know the exact time periods. Is every once in a while for having their stock, which is a great way to make money. Very little because they'll I'm pretty sure Google did per share. They'll give you like 25 cents. But it's a great way. If someone has like a ton of money, they throw it in Google right before one of those dividends, and then they just make a bunch more money. Because if they have a crazy amount of money, let's say $100 million, and they just chuck it on there right before the dividend's gonna give them a lot more money.
Yeah.
Which you can actually use that, because if people do that just right before, a bit before the dividend comes out, people are gonna start buying. So a bit before that, you buy some of your own, and you should be able to bank on it going up. Presumably, nothing bad happens to the stock in that time.
Right, that's a good point. So as an owner in the company, right, because that's what you have when you own stock. If they pay out dividends, you're getting paid, and the more stock you own, meaning the more of the company you own, the more dividends you get paid. And it's great for the company too. If you're a company and you want to grow, well, you need money to grow. You want to hire more employees, buy more equipment, rent more space for your business, right? Buy more property for your business, buy more product to sell. Well, that all takes money. So you can go to the bank and get a loan, and that'll cost you a lot of money to get a loan. You got to pay back the bank with interest. Or through the stock market, people will give you money to help your business grow, and that's what we're doing as stockholders, is giving money to the company, helping them grow, and hopefully as they grow, right, the stock price will go up because more people will want to invest, and we'll make money that way. So that's our lesson today, is what is a stock? But what else? What's going on in the news this week? I saw your favorite company, David, Palantir, took a bit of a dip this week.
Yeah, and basically what happened there is, if anyone's familiar on this, is the Pentagon had their budget reduced, which meant that they were going to pay people a lot less. And Palantir was getting paid, I believe it was 42% of their income was being paid by the government. So when their profits got reduced because the government paid them less, their stock went down. They're still up quite a bit, but it goes down a lot because of something like that, because it's a big deal.
Right, yeah, it's down from $124 per share to $101 a share. So quite a dip this week, but it's a great point. That's why we want to pay attention to what's going on in the news, because what's going on in the world can impact your company, and that was a great example with Palantir, David. But I'm guessing, though, we're not panicking, right? We see the stock took a dip. You're still in a buy mode with Palantir. It's probably a good time to even buy more now that it took that dip.
Right, and basically, so there's something like Palantir. Right now, I'm really banking on it will keep steadily going up, because Palantir is doing a lot of stuff really well, and I feel like they can continually go up. Even though the government reduced their budget, they are still making a lot of money. They shouldn't have lost that much from the government taking a dip on them, because it was 42%. They're not getting rid of it to zero, but they're still making them a lot of money. So right. I feel like it's gonna go back up, and that's why I say keep your stock if you have it, or buy more since it's a buy low, sell high.
Yeah, it's a good time to buy. And that's the other thing. The world changes, right? I mean, oftentimes, there is instability in the world, and anytime, there's a need for the United States to invest more in defense, and we see that throughout history. While we may take a dip right now in Department of Defense spending, certainly in time you can see that jump back up as the U.S. Department of Defense will suddenly, some kind of issue in the world will cause them to want to spend more money, and all of a sudden they're going to be looking to Palantir for that to fill that void. So let's talk about our game then. I think want to recap what happened last week. You were the big winner. I'll tell you what happened with Disney. I had Disney last week in honor of our trip to Disneyland. I lost $1 a share, so that didn't work out too well. You had chosen TCBP, right?
Yeah, I chose TCBP at $2.05.
Gotcha. And so yours went up how much?
It didn't go up too much, but since it's such a small stock, it went up, I believe, to $2.50, which is actually a very big jump for a stock like TCBP, because I have actually no clue what percentage that is.
It's about 20%.
But okay, 20%, but there's also a lot of risk and reward with those tiny stocks. So I went for it. I was saying last week I was going to go for it, and it paid off.
Well, that's a good jump. So think about that. What can you invest in that in a week you can have a 20% jump in your investment? That's pretty impressive. So shout out to a couple of our followers in our YouTube comments. Schmitty, who won last week, also goes by BG Origin. He chose GoDaddy. He took quite a dip this week. It went from 183 to 174, so he took a $9 a share loss. But I think he was on the right track. I think he just got onto GoDaddy a little early. You almost got beat there. One of our followers, BJ, chose Coca-Cola, and they went from $68 to $71 last week, so a 5% increase. But you were the winner with the 20% increase. So what do you have a stock this week? You want me to go first? What are you thinking?
I have some ideas, but I decided I'll let you go first.
Oh, very chivalrous of you. So I'm going to go with this week Domino's. Domino's may shock you at where it's trading at, right? Domino's took a dip last week. It was at $486 a share, down to $462 a share last week, so down $26. But its earnings report is coming out this week. And there are some positive projections circling around Domino's. And it's good pizza too. So Domino's, don't be afraid to send me some free pizza for complimenting you on our podcast. I think it's delicious pizza, but I'm going with Domino's. It took a nice dip before its earnings report's coming out. I think it's going to be a positive earnings report, so I'm hoping to cash in on that. What do you got for me?
Okay, well, I'm actually going to do what I was just talking about, Palantir. Since Palantir has been taking that dip I was saying, I feel like it's going to go up, and I'm just going to go on with that. Since I already have some stock, couldn't hurt to get more.
All right, you're going back in on Domino's or Palantir at $100 a share. So it's Domino's versus Palantir this week. If you've got a stock that you want to throw in on the contest, put it into the chat. Otherwise, I've got nothing else for you. Thank you for listening. Anything else, David?
Nope, I think that's all. Thank you all for listening. See you next time.